Is there any hope left, Eagles Nation? Is there anything that you can grasp to that gives you hope this weekend? Or is it just all doom and gloom in Philly? We got lots to talk about today, trending in the AM, and I'm even going to bring a little Eagle or Flyers and Sixers into the Eagles conversation today a little bit. We're live taking your thoughts and opinions in 30 seconds. And a very good morning, everybody, and welcome to Trending in the AM right here on Philadelphia Sports Network. We're live across all social media platforms, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, or not Instagram, YouTube. You know the drill. Like, share, subscribe, retweet, follow. Do whatever you can to share this show out on whatever platform you're watching. And as a reminder, if you're watching on Twitter, you can comment on the show now. Just click the video, pops up a box, and then there's a comment section. You click comments, put them up there. So I'm your host, Phil Stiefel, here every single morning on Trending in the AM. You can follow me at Beard of Knowledge everywhere that I'm at. But this show's about your opinion. I set the topic. You guys talk about it. If you want to change the opinion, we change the opinion. And we got lots to talk about this morning. Good morning, Duck. How you doing this morning? We'll get to your earlier comment from yesterday afternoon that's in the comment section already on this show in a little bit. But we got lots to talk about. And yesterday was a lot of doom and gloom on this show about our Philadelphia Eagles, and rightfully so, because that's how a lot of Eagles Nation feels right now: doom and gloom. But is there any hope? Is there any hope for our Philadelphia Eagles? Is there any hope that they can turn it around? That's what I want. I want to start off with today. I have a little bit of a Sixers comparison or segue that I want to bring into it. Obviously, there was huge breaking Flyers news yesterday evening that I want to touch on. I'm not a big Flyers watcher right now, but I want to bring it up. But I also want to bring up how the organization and the Flyers handled that situation. Some things I heard from Nick Nurse and the Sixers, and how those two situations relate to our Philadelphia Eagles and the dysfunction that's going on at the NovaCare complex. So hold on, why didn't it pop up? There we go. So we have open OC and DC positions. Who are they going? Duck is already Duck is beyond hope. Duck is beyond saving. Duck is moving on to filling our positions for next year already, and I love it. He put in a comment yesterday afternoon. Wink Martindale resigns as the Giants defensive coordinator. Should we bring him in? Guys, there's all, as your next comment says, Duck, because Duck's the only one in the comments to start off. There's always hope. The realist is it real? Yeah, I get that. You can't really think about next offseason, even though it's potentially 8 days away until the offseason's here. And to address the Wink Martindale situation, a lot of Eagles fans are jumping up and down for Wink Martindale right now because he resigned from the Giants. Can we start the Wink Martindale conversation with what was the New York Giants record this year? I know they just whooped up on us a few days ago. But why do we want a defensive coordinator that just ran a defense that was like the 27th ranked defense in the NFL? Just because they blitz a lot and we couldn't stop said blitz on Sunday, we want him as our defensive coordinator? I don't know. I know the Giants don't have a huge amount of talent, but neither does the Eagles defense at this moment. So I'm not ready to, jump on the Wink Martindale train yet. Jesse Minter, even though he turned us down, Michigan Wolverines defense coordinator, that would be my number one target again, even though he turned us down last year, it seems like. Michigan winning the national championship game. How about that? The Jim Harbaugh era officially can end now in Michigan because he got that national championship. Where he goes, who knows? We'll see. That's an off-season conversation. But Yeah, Duck is going to the mattresses. Exactly, exactly. Duck sums up what a lot of Philadelphia Eagles fans are feeling right now. That they've moved on already from this season. And I understand it. I get it. I understand that feeling of negativity. I feel it. I understand the feeling that there's, you know, no hope left. But let's not forget Tampa Bay. Tampa Bay is not a good football team. Not at all. In fact, they're a terrible football team, honestly. They won by default the worst division in football. That's it. They played Carolina on Sunday. Got to win to get in. They put up 9 whole points. We beat this Tampa team 25-11 way back in week 3. And as I keep studying and diving into that week 3 game, what happened to that Eagles team? Jalen Hurts, 277 passing yards, 40 rushes for over 200 yards from our running back trio of Swift, Gainwell, and Hurts. A.J. Brown, 130-plus yards. Zacchaeus had a touchdown in that game. Like, what happened to that team? They created 2 turnovers in that game, an interception and a fumble. Like, where did we go wrong from week 3 to week 18? Like, there was no stopping us, in my opinion, after week 3. We were literally just, picking up and continuing on from where this team was in 2022, in 2023, and then it just all fell apart. And, it's the first thing that I can bring up, goes into, you know, Nick Sirianni and Howie Roseman and what's going on with the Flyers and the Sixers right now. And the first thing that I could say, and I know basketball is basketball, and football is football, is accountability. This Eagles team lacks accountability. They have legends, future Hall of Famers, fantastic leaders. Yet we hear the same cliche things after every loss, after every bad performance. The Sixers this past weekend lost 2 games that they should have won. And Nick Nurse flat out said yesterday, I do not accept the lack of effort from my team. And you know what he did yesterday? He ran a training camp level practice. Hard practice. Running drills. Because lack of effort isn't going to be accepted. He's holding his team accountable. We hear comments from Javon Hargrave this past weekend, laughing at the practice routine of the Eagles. How much harder practice is in San Francisco. We heard that already this year from Sidney Brown of the Eagles. Practice, becomes reality. How you practice becomes reality in the game. We've been through this before with Doc Rivers and the Sixers, where a current teammate goes on a podcast, George Niang, and laughs at the word practice under Doc Rivers. There's a huge difference between what Nick Nurse is doing culture and accountability wise with the Sixers and what's going on with the Eagles. Now, is that a knock on Nick Sirianni? Pretty much. I'm not saying fire Nick Sirianni, but there should be a knock. Nick Sirianni instead talks about how much faith Jeffrey Lurie has in him and gives him a pat on the back all the time, et cetera, et cetera. Big difference between the two right there. Nick Nurse not accepting accountability or not accepting, failure. And Nick Sirianni saying, we're going to be better next week. We're going to try harder. We're going to practice it out. We're going to figure it out, blah, blah, blah. Big difference between the culture and the organization of the two teams. There's hope in some of our rookies, but the issue is the vets are not stepping up. There's a massive disconnect between them. They don't seem to care, which isn't helping these rookies develop. That's from Zach. If you're watching, you can't see and you're just listening. There is hope for the future with our rookies, but the veterans, you got to think about it. I said this yesterday. I said it on social media on Sunday. Kelsey could be his last game this week. Could be Fletcher Cox's last game, at least as an Eagle. Could be Brandon Graham's last game of his career. Slay and Bradbury could be gone. Their last game. Could be Reddick's last game. The amount of big name players, if this could be their last game in Philly or in their career, is massive. You would think they would have some self-pride to want to put a little fight out there, a little energy out there. And they don't. And I'm not sure where that lack of fight or lack of effort is coming from these guys. The drag of an underperforming offense basically gassed out our defense, which made it meh defense worse. Okay. Yeah, well, so I've been saying this for weeks now. The defense is bad, obviously. The talent is not there, obviously. The miscommunication, the confusing who's in charge and who's not, all part of it. But the offense can pick up the defense a little bit. How many times have we seen defenses carry an offense, in a season or in a playoff run or whatnot? Well, an offense could do the same. And it's not doing it right now. So I know everybody wants to blame a lot of the problems on defense, but offense is just as much of an issue. If anything, a bigger issue. What's up, TMC? How you doing this morning? Maybe Eagles players want to start hot tub season. I honestly think some Eagles have already moved on to the offseason. It's unfortunate. It's not the way it should be. Coming off of a Super Bowl year, a team with all this talent, and there is a lot of talent on offense, and some, not a lot, but some on defense. And if Swift goes down in practice, we're all calling for series head. I'm not saying go full bore and tackle and blah, blah, blah. I'm not saying that. But what I'm saying is what we've seen from the practice videos, same thing over and over again. And what they're doing in practice is obviously having negative results right now. So are they? When you have multiple people, past and present, calling out your practice routine, and not just veteran people like Javon Hargrave, a Pro Bowl, all-pro level player, when you have a rookie calling out practice habits, that tells me something is wrong with practice. I'm not saying go to 2-a-day padded practices again, K1. I'm not saying, practice dirty or extra hard. I'm just saying practice habits do translate into game habits. And right now, all we see is these videos of ball protection videos with the jousting sticks. Well, we are one of the most turnover prone teams in the NFL. Obviously, whatever they're doing in practice isn't working. Maybe it's time for Nick Sirianni to be like, all right, back to the drawing board. Something else has to happen. Something else has to be done in between games. But no, there's no accountability for these things. It seems like it's been ages since we've, seen Nick Sirianni yell at it. There was a point early in the season when we were winning where Jalen Hurts had a bad play, and Nick Sirianni ripped him a new one when we were winning. Well, where's Nick Sirianni ripping any player right now? It's all fine and good when you rip a player when you're winning, but what about when you rip a player's or your whole team for a lack of effort? If I was Nick Sirianni, and I know this could cause you to lose your team even more than you might have already, if I get to the podium on Sunday after losing to the Giants, I'm standing at that podium and calling out my entire team's lack of effort. And I'm questioning their heart and desire. I'm sending a message that this is unacceptable. What Hargrave says. I get we don't care about Hargrave anymore. And if Sidney Brown hadn't just said the same thing a few weeks back, I would have said, well, he's just a disgruntled former Eagle player. But that's not. This is not the first person saying. Just like when George Niang said it, he wasn't the first person to question Doc Rivers' practice routine. When you hear things once, it's one thing. When you hear things multiple times, it's another. And it just brings to the forefront. You can bring up, good morning, Eric. How you doing today? And that's right. Hit that like button, please. Let's go. I greatly appreciate it. We're a little slow here on building the algorithm today. We need more padded workouts. Yeah, you don't need to go back to 2-a-days or anything like that. But you could do something. You can increase the intensity a little bit more. How, as a coach with such long seasons, do you convince guys to want to play extra games? We're not asking for extra games. What's up, Mitchy Poo? Yeah, Michigan won. Who cares? I didn't. I didn't even watch but like 2 seconds of it. I laid $5 on Michigan or Washington +5 just for shits and giggles. So I checked. I saw we were losing. Washington was losing. So I didn't care about that game. But it does mean that Michigan might lose their head coach. That's all I'll say about that. Didn't we start doing tackling practice again in the first season? In his first season? Maybe we did. Maybe. I'm not sure. I don't remember. I don't think it was much more than we are now. Attention to detail over and over should be done, but it seems more like it's up to you, the young players, on how much they want to improve their game during practice. Yeah, who's running? We've heard the saying, "Who's running the asylum?" I mean, Baker is due. We should be able to stop, but we couldn't stop Tyree Taylor or Tommy DeVito, Kyler Murray. Why do we think Baker Mayfield's going to be any different? Doc to me was retire mode here. He was the last year or two for sure. But we're talking about practice routines and the lack of accountability. And then you got people like Dallas Goddard coming out and saying that we've just been coasting since we locked up our playoff berth. Well, that's not what you want to hear either. So, is there any hope? Sure. We're going up against a bad team. I get it. A team that, you know, probably doesn't deserve to be in the playoffs. Well, we don't deserve to be in the playoffs either. But you got so many people giving different, you know, messages to the media and to the fans that, where there's hope, but there's no hope coming out of the players. There's cliche sayings, there's no accountability, and nothing else. And this is not like other sports. Like in basketball, they say you can flip it on in the playoffs. You flip a switch and get back to it. It's a best of 7 series. So if you lose game 1 while you're flipping that switch back on, game 2 or 3, you're back in a roll, whatever. This is football. It's different. It's not just flip a switch and you're good to go. It's one and done. You play like you did last week against the Giants, you're done this week against Tampa. And a lot of Eagles fans feel that way. The bookies don't, but a lot of Eagles fans feel that way. Tampa's not scared of us coming down to Tampa this week. Not in the least bit. You're the defending NFC champions. You are 11-6, and a 9-8 team is not scared of you in the playoffs. Actually, I don't think one of the other 13 NFL teams in the playoffs would be scared of this Eagles team because everybody sees it. Everybody sees that there's nothing positive coming out of this organization right now. So while on paper there's hope, I'm going to answer my own question right here 20 minutes into the show. Is there any hope left? For me, all hope is lost on this season. I have zero hope left. And I don't foresee over the next 3 or 4 shows anybody convincing me that there's hope left in this season. Yankees don't do college football. I'm just not a college football guy anymore. I used to be. I'm just not. Team practice is most important for the O-line and the quarterback. Everyone else gets most of their work in position drills. Tackling is an attitude. Blankenship doesn't have trouble tackling. I had trouble tackling what's his name on that one touchdown. Now he was lined up as a weak side linebacker instead of a safety on that play and didn't know what to do on that RPO touchdown. But Reed Blankenship's okay tackler. He's not bad. He's not great. He's not bad. And practice is important for the O-line and quarterback. Well, guess what? Our O-line is dog trash right now against the blitz. Nobody knows what the blocking assignments are. The quarterback doesn't know how to check out of a blitz a play when he sees a blitz coming. There's no hot routes set into place. So then maybe the practice needs to be better for the O-line and the quarterbacks, mister. Sure, route running, it's a position thing. Cornerbacks, yeah, there's some positional drills and stuff like that. But come on now. Practice becomes reality. It really does. And if people don't see how the practices are obviously not working based off of the results, but also based off of what many people are saying, then there's a problem there. He doesn't watch college. I don't bet it. That was my first college bet I made this entire season. I just thought maybe I'd put a couple bucks on it. It wasn't much. It was like $5 just for shits and giggles. My big betting starts tonight. Fairway to Heaven, Fantasy and Gambling Golf Podcast Season 4 begins tonight at 9 p.m. I can't wait. The Sony Open. Already got 2 pages of notes ready to go for tonight with my man Jason Sullivan. I cannot wait to talk golf and the 2024 PGA season, even though John Rahm's not around anymore. So that's where my cry for help comes from. The fact that I'm a degenerate golf bettor. Just so you know, K1. Lots of old times on the Eagles. There's a really strong mix of old and young, actually. There's a lot more youth on this team than people realize. The Bucks are probably excited to play with Zach for sure. A couple of weeks ago, they didn't think they had a chance of, making it to the divisional round. They'll get smoked in the divisional round, probably. Baker's playing for his career anywhere. You got some great wide receivers and Mike Evans and Chris Godwin. Rashad White's a great young running back who we held to. What happened to our defense? I mean, you look at this. Week 3, we held Baker to under 150 yards. Rashad White to under 40 yards rushing. Where'd that defense go? What happened to our defense? Sidney Brown and not Sidney Brown. I'm saying safeties. Darius Slay and James Bradbury held Godwin and Evans to under 100 yards combined that last time. Man, they're both going to get 100 yards on Sunday at this rate. No doubt about it, in my opinion. I drank last night and it ruined my sleep. I have cocktail flu. It's called a hangover, for sure. Whoa, golf. Let's go. I love talking golf, K1. I love betting. And DFS, DraftKings Golf, is the best thing. It's 10 times better than DFS, DraftKings Football. I love it. Love it. Love it. Already placed a few outright bets for this week's event. You'll have to tune in tonight to see who I'm betting. Last year, I picked 6 outrights. I got 2 years in a row getting 6 outrights correct, which is actually very hard to pick in golf. So 6 outrights is really good over the course of a season. Not much. You guys are just chit chatting. I'm putting up your small talk in the comments section. That's the problem with making Darius Slay a team captain is the rest of the defense takes his demeanor. Slay doesn't tackle. No one else cares about it either. Slay doesn't tackle, and James Bradbury. I don't think Bradbury's a captain, is he? Just Slay is. But yeah, the leaders, the demeanor of the leaders on defense is bleeding into it. The demeanor of your coaches are bleeding into it. You talk about accountability. Nick Nurse is holding the Sixers accountable. He's got them running drills in January, 30-some games into a season. He's got them running training camp level practices. You go to the Flyers. They have a bad egg that says he doesn't want to play there. I don't even know who Cutter Gauthier it was before last night. Number 5 overall pick of the NHL draft in 2022. I think he plays at Boston College or something right now. We own his rights. Said he doesn't want to play in Philly. So you know what? Jonesy and Briere do? Get out of here. You don't want to be here? We don't want you here. It's an attitude. If players don't want to play for the Eagles, then get out. Find somebody that wants to play. There's a total difference between how the Eagles are running their ship right now and the Sixers and Flyers. I have more based off of one single move of the Flyers yesterday. And I know they've been losing a few more games than not recently. But one single move that the Flyers did sent a message to the entire organization. The times are changing in Flyer land. Right now in Eagle land, anything's acceptable. Anything. And that's a problem. There's no small talk amongst the court 12. There's always small talk going on. I try to ignore it in the comments. Morning, Dave. How you doing? Julio and Dallas were open when they blitzed. Jalen and his hand got jacked up. He needs to think faster. Yeah, I mean, there might have been some open guys on some of the blitzes, but they were they were open. If you slow down the tape, most of the time they're open too late. You got to have built-in hot routes on blitzes, and I don't think the Eagles do. So while some of it is on Jalen, got to get rid of it really quickly. Some of it's on the blocking scheme. Some of it is on the play call and play design. You've got to have a quick, all right, I see the blitz coming, signal to your guy in the slot. You're the hot guy. Let's go. But there is none of that. Nick Sirianni dumping, was it yesterday? I think it was yesterday's presser, a little on Jalen. Nobody picked up on it, because we always say Jalen's being coached a certain way. Nick Sirianni says Jalen Hurts does have the right to make changes at the line of scrimmage. So kind of saying, well, Jalen, you don't like what's being called, change it at the line. Miscommunication. Nobody's on the same page. It's kind of frustrating at the playoffs that we have to feel this way. What's up, DK? I'm surprised we haven't heard them say they are going to simplify the playbook. That is one of the cliche things that coaches tend to say, and they haven't. But the playbook, I don't think you could simplify it any more than it already is. It's 7-step drop, deep ball. 7-step drop, deep ball. 3rd and 18, hand off to Kenny Gainwell up the middle. Or a quarterback draw to the left. That's like the entire playbook. They got these big play sheets, but they only use like this little section of it, DK, and that's a problem. There's so many things wrong with this team. I'm unfortunately in the no hope crew, and that's where I'm at. I have no hope left. I know I titled, Is There Any Hope Left? I have no hope left. And we still, very well, even if we win on Sunday, I still have no hope. None whatsoever. We have a young center, TMC, and we have some young secondary, but we do need more. But we are good at center. Yeah, Cam Jurgens is the center of the future, for sure. Where will Kool-Aid McKinstry be drafted? I have no idea. I don't even know who that is. That's why I wanted Nakobe Dean to stay healthy. He would have grown into a great team leader. He's a hard worker, and he loves to bring the smoke. Look, I'm not going to put one and one together, but a lot of the problems that this team have happened since Nakobe Dean has gone down, both the first time and the second time. Now, they put too many eggs in the basket of Nakobe Dean. Didn't have a good enough backup plan if he was to get hurt. But Nakobe Dean was supposed to be the leader of this defense. He was the one from day one with the green dot in training camp. Tells me they had faith in him leading this defense. But on the flip side, there's a reason why the first round graded player fell to the third round. They should have had a better backup plan than Ben Van Summer and Nicholas Morrow, and who? Shaq Leonard now. It's ridiculous. Dave, absolutely. Todd Bowles will blitz us. And he's the third highest blitz. The Buccaneers are the third highest percentage of blitzing team in the league. I think it's like 39%. I had it in my notes the other day. I forget where I wrote it down. But it's like 39% of the plays that they blitz. Our offensive line has no communication. We have no hot routes. Jalen Hurts is going to be under so much pressure. Let me see. What happened? He was only sacked once in week 3. He ran the ball 10 times. Some of them could have been on scrambles on blitzes. I'm not sure. We'll have to see. I would have to think about that one a little bit more. But practice. Maybe practice picking up the blitz a little bit more. Where is Jeff Stoutland? Stoutland U. Supposedly the greatest offensive line coach ever invented, ever created. Can't get these guys to pick up a blitz. Can't get these guys communicating a little bit better. It's not good. Yeah, I don't have any clue. I'm not ready for the draft yet. How much more simple can the playbook? Exactly. The playbook is so simple. It's like original Tecmo Bowl, where there was just 4 plays you could pick from on the screen. 2 runs, 2 passes. Some teams, 3 passes, 1 run. Like, that's how simple. It's an H-back dive, A quarterback draw, a Hail Mary, and a bunch of nothing. That's it. It's not good. Dallas Goedert proved my point. He said after 10-1 knowingly they made the playoffs, players are playing effortless until a must-win game. Yeah, and I said that, Travis, earlier, a few minutes ago. His comments that they've been coasting since locking it up tells me all I need to know about this team and the leaders on this team. That should be unacceptable. Nick Sirianni should be acting more like Nick Nurse and driving home the point that that is unacceptable. And that right there is why I have no hope. Because there is no accountability. None. Dallas Goedert's comments, Javon Hargreaves' comments this week, Nick Nurse's comments have all proven a point that there's no reason for us to have any form of hope with this team right now. None. There is hope, and it rests in the trenches. O-line needs to give Jalen more time, and Davis and Carter need to create more pressure. But what have you seen from this O-line, DK, that makes you think that they can figure out a blitz pickup? They haven't all season. The offensive line hasn't been good for a while. I actually was calling out the offensive line before it was cool to do it. 2 years ago, last year. I had conversations with my man George, if he's watching. That Jalen Hurts masked some of the pass blocking deficiencies of this team with his ability to run. He can't run as well this year. He's slower. He's got the knee issue. And all of a sudden, you see the offensive line's not as good as people thought. Some people would say that the O-line made Jalen Hurts better. I say that Jalen Hurts made the O-line look better than it was. Now, there's no denying they're a great run-blocking team, hence why they should run the ball more frequently. But pass blocking, this offensive line hasn't been good at pass blocking for years. People think it has been, but it hasn't been. Lane Johnson went like 3 billion games without giving up a sack. Well, there was a couple sacks that he should have given up, but Jalen Hurts avoided it in the previous years. This year, Jalen can't. The Kobe D is the Fugazi. It seems like he was or is. Now he'll be on this team again next year, Davey. He will be, no doubt about it. But they better have a backup plan in case he's not. In case you're right and he is a Fugazi. Too many eggs put in the Kobe Dean basket, and unfortunately, it didn't work out. Monday Night Football in the playoffs is stupid. Even if it wasn't the Eagles, I would say it's stupid. It gives whoever wins on Monday night an unfair advantage or an unfair disadvantage in the divisional round. Phil's already checked out on football and looking forward to golf. I'm ready for golf. I'm ready to talk basketball on this show, hockey on this show. I'm planning out a list of different guests. Once the offseason comes, that's when the guests start coming back on the show. You know, trying to bring different stories and conversations to the equation. Like, I see no hope. I was looking at Super Bowl Sunday for the pizza shop from last year, trying to already plan out this year's Super Bowl Sunday for business-wise. And when the Eagles are in the Super Bowl, it's better than when they're not, obviously, for business. Well, there's one bar that doesn't serve food. I cater their bar on Super Bowl Sunday every year. Throwbacks in Hokess. Great sports bar. Free plug for you, Ace. And his order was massively smaller than last year's order. Why? Because the Eagles aren't going to be in the Super Bowl. I'm done. I'm checked out. I have no hope left. I was hoping by titling this show, and we're only 34 minutes in, so you still got another hour to convince me otherwise. Right now, I have no hope left on this season. I'm checked out. Mentally. I'll watch the game physically. But mentally, I'm done. And even if they win, I would give them a 0% chance of winning in the future, the next game. After a loss, if you watch Eagles shows, chats, Cowboys fans, of course Cowboys fans, except for Lucio. We got to show Lucio some love. He's a very, very good supporter of the show, even though he is a Cowboys fan. Hope is the last refuge of fools. Yeah, well, and I'm not believing in any of the hope. Snowing heavily out here in Illinois. Yeah, it's not snowing here. Our big snowmageddon that was supposed to happen this weekend barely put a dusting on the ground. Yeah, so more just rain here. You can't pick up an 8-man rushing blitz with only 6 blockers and have long developing plays with no checkoffs. Well, then that's what I'm saying. That's where practice comes in. That's where scheme, that's where the coaching comes into play. Having that hot route. They don't have a hot route. Never. You can't protect. Stop it with the 7-step drop, 20-yard developing plays. That's on Brian Johnson. That's on Nick Sirianni. That's why I don't believe in firing Nick Sirianni yet, but I also wouldn't be disappointed if they did. How has he not lost a lot? Some of these players crave accountability, crave leadership, and they're not getting any. They're getting the same old bull crap every single day. I don't have an answer for that. I just hope they work it out. Key to winning the game, I think, falls there. Yeah, there's a lot of keys to victory. We'll get into them maybe Monday before the game for our preview and prediction show. DK, but realistically, and I said this earlier, and I'm going to switch to something else here on my side screen here. I want to bring up the entire schedule. How many teams that are in the playoffs right now do you think the Eagles are better than at this moment? Let's go through it. You got the first game on Saturday, Browns and Texans. I would not predict the Eagles to beat either of those two teams. It would be close versus the Texans, but the Browns defense would gobble us up. And we would make whoever's the starting quarterback for the Browns look like Joe Montana. Dolphins and Chiefs, I know we beat both of them. We would not beat them in the playoffs. Steelers, Bills, maybe we could beat the Steelers. I think the Steelers are weaker than their record says, but they play with heart. There's no talent on the Steelers, and they play with heart. The Bills are red hot. They would smoke us. Packers, I think, is Packers, Cowboys, Rams, Lions. The Packers are the only team that I mean, I guess I could say maybe even then. The Packers, the Bucks, the Eagles, Steelers, all borderline bad teams that don't deserve to be in the playoffs at this moment. I can't even pretend to have hope on this team. And I'm trying, Eric, and I'm trying to get you to convince me that there's hope, that this team could go on a run, because my negativity is bleeding through. And there are a few select people on Twitter that are calling me a bad fan and this and that. Oh, there was one person that said, you know, don't be a fan. Don't come back to the team and be a fan when they make it to the Super Bowl. And I'm just like, that's delusional talk. How you could believe and have hope that this team can make it to the Super Bowl is just laughable at this point. Real talk, if Reed and Sidney is definitely out, who's playing safety? Is Reed Blankenship out? Did Reed Blankenship get hurt and I missed something, Dave? I'm sorry. I missed that one. Sidney Brown is definitely out. They already announced torn ACL. He's done till probably November next year. Got a problem. It's Kevin Byard and Reed Blankenship. And if not Reed Blankenship, I don't know who. What's Charles Edmonds doing now? It's only unfair if they play Saturday. If they play on Sunday, it's unfair. Sad that we'll never get another Mummers Kelsey speech on his way out. Just think about that. Monday might be Jason Kelsey's last game of his career. Thank you for nothing, Eric. If Laurie did the unthinkable and fires Nick, he's getting Harbaugh. I mean, there's a lot of rumors that Harbaugh, and these are just rumors floating around, likes the idea of going to Vegas. Also likes the idea of going and coaching Justin Herbert. I honestly think Harbaugh is a smidge overrated. I mean, I'm second guessing that. Now they just took the Michigan Wolverines to a championship. But before that, kind of felt he was a little overrated. But, he's also an interesting personality, we'll just say. But I would say he's going to one of those two teams most likely. Maybe Josh Harris breaks the bank to bring him to Washington. I don't know if he would want to start a rebuild. He's going to go somewhere where he sees potential already. Justin Herbert would obviously be that guy. Phil likes golf because golfers only accountable to themselves. Yeah, I like golf because it's an individual sport. You got nobody to blame but yourself. Plus, I got into golf K1 reporting, talking, writing because when I first started content creation, I started as a writer for a website that doesn't exist anymore. Whatever. Um, and I started writing in February of 2020. And then obviously the sports world shut down. First sport to come back was golf. So I'm like, you know what? I'm going to write golf. And I got into it and I loved it. November 2020, I did my first golf podcast. And then after that, we started Fairway to Heaven. I love doing it. I love it. I love it. I love it. Eagles better than the Panthers. Are they? Are you 100% sure about that, Eric? One on a neutral field out of 10 games right now with the way the team's playing right now. How many times do the Eagles beat the Panthers? It's not 10 times for sure. Team, yeah, boom, yeah. It's not real money again, but I do appreciate the ones that do it for real. TMC. If we can turn it around, we can be up there with the Niners again. It's now or never. If we can turn it around, but can we? Is it too little, too late? Like these Dallas Goedert comments that we're just coasting once we got this playoff locked up. That bothers me. That really does bother me that you have a player on your team saying that we are just coasting right now. This is a football. You can't just flip a switch and magically think everything is going to be better. If anything, it's getting worse. I don't see hope in this statement, Travis. Don't tell Phil how to fan. Don't tell. Everybody could be a fan how they want. Reed had a groin injury. Reed's been banged up a lot this year. A lot this year. Just being critical of your team does not make you less of a fan. You still exactly, Doc. And some of them are just crazies and just whatever. The super fan groups on Facebook, etc. Whatever. But there is a lot more hope floating around Twitter than I realized. But it's a lot of basic. When you ask them why, they don't have an answer. They say because they're a fan and they never give up. I'm asking for you to give me a reason now to be a fan, to have hope. And there is none. Kelsey, stop. Get that out of here. Saturday Night Smoke, what's up? Vegas has Eagles plus 1,300 as 6th favorite to win the Super Bowl. By Niners, Ravens, Bills, Cowboys, and Chiefs. Wow. I actually, if that's on DK, I might just go. I have no hope left in the season, but I'm a degenerate, and why not? Maybe I'll go throw a shekel on that or two. I mean, I've seen worse odds than that. I guess I got double down since my Jalen Hurts and Trevor Lawrence MVP bets didn't cash this year. I don't watch college basketball either. Used to, but don't. We beat Chiefs, Miami, Bills, Rams, Cowboys, Tampa, all playoff teams. We still in there. All right. The Chiefs, not as good as they were in years past. Miami, not. I don't know about my Bills are red hot now. They were struggling then. We almost got them started, basically. The Rams are a better team now than they were. Tampa's a better team now than they were. Dallas is a much more confident and better team now than they were. And the Eagles have fallen apart. I get it. And I always say, Travis, your record is what it says you are. But there's sometimes that's not an accurate statement from me. And our record doesn't say what we are. 1-5 says what we are in the last 6 weeks. What's our biggest pizza? The big one. A 52-slice monster that we sell. We have a 52-slice pizza. I always saw myself as one of the ultimate Philly optimists, watching the stupidity of our obvious square peg game plans and even worse defense. Yeah, it's tough. I try to be an optimist. I try to be a realist. I try not to be Negatron, Marshawn. But sometimes it's hard. And I don't think I am being a negative Philly fan by saying I have no hope. I feel like I'm being a realist, not a negative by saying that. It's like we think we're the Warriors of a few years ago and just turn it on like that. Basketball is such a different sport. You can, to an extent, flip a switch. We see it far more often in basketball than football, or even baseball, we see it more. that wild card teams make deep runs. Hell, the Phillies did a few years ago. But it's not the way it works in football because it's one and done. If you don't flip that switch quick enough, you're done and you're gone. Your season's over. NFL is a business. The players mimic the teammates with the biggest contracts. Howie played Slay, and no one else on this defense. Howie doesn't know what he's doing. And I started yesterday, and I brought it out more on social media yesterday. It's time to call Howie back into question. I found a tweet I had from before the season started of Masterclass Howie Roseman 2023 offseason, listing all the things he did so well. Every single one of those things, he did poorly. Howie's offseason wasn't as great as it was, or wasn't as great as it perceived to be. And it's a shame because no one's going to criticize Howie. Howie can do no wrong. He's a cap management genius, supposedly. He trades great. He drafts well, supposedly now. But when you really think about it, did he draft as well as we think he did? Jordan Davis, not living to the hype, considering who else was on the table. Jalen Carter, great generational type talent, disappeared the last couple of weeks. Nolan Smith just started getting on the field. You know, where's the help? You lost all those players on defense last year, and where's the help? Where's the replacement? Howie wasn't as great as we thought he was this offseason. We'll see if he learns. What's up, Al? A real fan critiques a fake fan blindly loves their team. Exactly. And I'm not criticizing the people that are like that blindly love their team no matter what. And I'm not worried about what's being said to me. I'm just trying to find out why these people feel this way. Because I can't feel this way. I don't feel this way. And I don't understand how some fans feel this way. If we make it to the championship, you will apologize and yeah, sure I'll say I was wrong. I'll be shocked, Travis, but I'll say I'm wrong. I mean, I'm not saying they're not going to win this weekend because they very well could win. Tampa's not a good team. But after that, I have no faith in them beating Dallas or Detroit or San Francisco in that next round. None. I mean, even if they win that, look, they get to the championship game, then that's a masterclass performance from Nick Sirianni getting these guys to flip a switch. I just don't foresee it happening. And on top of all the lack of effort, the injuries are piling up. The lack of depth is showing. Something weird about the offense and the scheme and the plays popped into my head about how predictable this offense is. And Marcus Mariota was commenting about Britton Covey and he had 3 catches on Sunday or whatever, but how good of a wide receiver he could be. You've got a potential weapon in Britton Covey, and I thought he was going to have a breakout season by his standards and make a few plays on offense. He had 3 catches on Sunday, which was 3 more than he had all season, basically. But there's no creativity. Somebody like Britton Covey could have been a wrinkle in this offense that teams weren't ready for. But there's no creativity. You got A.J. Brown, you got Devontae Smith. That's it. Dallas Goedert or quarterback runs. That's it. It's literally like playing, not Madden, Tecmo Bowl out there. Not even Super Tecmo Bowl. Tecmo Bowl. That's what it's like out there right now. I've always found it odd that they don't take the easy plays to move the ball, the plays that work. They just keep trying to put, because it worked so well. What they are doing this year is not much different than what they did last year. It's just it worked last year because nobody was able to stop it. This year, everybody's got a blueprint on it. And the Eagles haven't made any adjustment to what they're doing. If they started doing some of what you're saying here, take the easy plays, the dinks and the dunks and run the ball a little bit more, that would open up the deep game that they want to work on, they want to use so much. What if they do all vet down to business in the playoffs? What if they do all vet down? It doesn't even make sense, my man. Sorry. Howie is Lori's wartime consigliere. I like it. He is. He is. I guess. When Andy was here, we seemed to get rid of Guy almost a year or two before they fell off. Now we commit. Yeah, like now, Eric, it feels like the '09 2010 Phillies all over again, hanging on too long to the guys. Hindsight's 2020. Slay and Bradbury should have been let go. They weren't. They had great years last year. They fell off a cliff this year. Imagine if we got Hamilton instead of Davis. Baltimore wanted to draft Davis, and we hopped them to get him. Yeah, I wonder. I wonder if Baltimore really wanted Davis or not. And it was just like a rumor sent out there just to trick the Eagles. Maybe. I mean, it could be. I mean, I wouldn't be shocked if that's accurate. Um, but yeah, imagine. And I'm a Jordan Davis fan, DK. I think the guy's talented. The guy's good. Just maybe not in this. And Jordan Davis would have been a better fit 20 years ago in the NFL when nose tackles were actually still a thing. But now, Jordan Davis, you got to be on the field, and he can't. And he's burned out by now. He was great early in the season. We were talking about breakout season incoming, but he fell off. He couldn't sustain it. Davis has been double teamed the most of any D line player this league. He is also fifth in run stopping. He still needs to make the setup to being more than a run stopper. Yeah. Look, again, we're crushing Jordan Davis on this show lately. I'm not trying to say anything. I like the kid. I think he's a good, talented football player. But when you see what Kyle Hamilton's doing and our deficiency at safety, it just makes the conversation so easy to have. If you don't critique Eagles, your show will blow. Yeah, something like that. If we put up over 17 points, I'll be shocked, let alone a win that. Hey, 17 points might be a win. Honestly. Tampa's got a good defense, but their offense can be shut down. Hell, Carolina held Tampa in a must-win situation to 9 points. I'm concerned about stopping Rachaad White this time, just as much as the passing game. He's a much different running back than he was in week 3. Much more confident running back than in week 3. All this great content and 9 likes, really? See, I can't see the likes anymore until after the show. Not good enough. Hit that like button, please, please, please. If Smitty and AJ play, you should beat Tampa and Lucio. Thank you. You missed it. I complimented you earlier in the show. I brought you up and complimented you. Doesn't matter if AJ and Smitty play. We still got to stop the Buccaneers. We still got to get the ball into their hands. We still got to score. Still got to play mistake-free football. I am not confident in this team the least bit right now. This is the accumulation of Howie not really taking linebackers and safeties seriously. 2 good safeties make average quarterbacks look good. Also, a defensive line that gets 70 sacks makes your quarterbacks look better. A lot of it plays into it. It's a team sport. What one player does affects what other players do so much. Mistakes made all over the board. They like meth addicts to the long ball. They are. They really are. They lost the fact that last year's running game opened up the passing game. They like these Kenzo. Yeah, they do. We are not blind fans. We are tired of saying this team's crap whole season been sloppy. Look, you can feel confident if you want, and that's fine. But you haven't said anything, Travis, that makes me feel like there's hope. And that's not saying this week. This is saying big picture in this playoff. Because realistically speaking, winning this week was not the goal. Making the playoffs was not the goal. Winning the division and getting back to the Super Bowl was the goal. And winning this week and then losing next week is still a disappointment. Because that's not what we expected. There was supposed to be a standard, and it's not being held up to. There was a there was a contract made between the Eagles and the fans. And this is the standard we are going to live up to, and this is what we are going to play to. And they're not doing it. They have failed on their side. But would Hamilton be Hamilton? That's a fair conversation to have. And I don't know. Don't know about that. Goddard is our best short passing game option because he can break tackles. I wanted to draft another tight end in the first round because, hey, look, I don't know about a first round tight end, but remember, I was talking about all year, all offseason, Mister, about needing a better tight end too. And TMC was like, well, you got one in Dan Arnold. And I just kept laughing. Dan Arnold hasn't even played in the NFL this year. They didn't get a backup. Jack Stoll, Grant Calcaterra, not good enough. Alberto, Aqua Bowman, not good enough. We are tired calling this team out weekly because, yeah, stay positive. Well, it's hard to do. Very, very hard to do. 9 likes is Brian Johnson level. Yeah, it is. Pathetic. Packers, Eagles, Rams, then Super Bowl. That's how Lucio sees it going for them. You got the Packers, or the Rams making it to the championship game. That's a bold prediction. Eagles fans are predicting a blowout win for the Eagles. And you know what, Mitch? It very well could happen because the Bucs are not a good football team. But I have no confidence in saying a blowout win. The only thing that gives me any vote of confidence has nothing to do with the Eagles themselves, but the sports books and the fact that that line keeps going up. It started at 1, 2.5. It's up to like 3, 3.5 now. That is the only thing. If it gets up to like a 5-point Eagles favorite, then I'm really going to think the Eagles are going to win. Lines can tell you a lot, but I kind of got that feeling that the line's telling me that that's the only thing that's giving me any hope. Only hope. The likes don't update for us while we're in the live chat. If you leave and come back, you can see it. Yeah, I can't do that personally. It used to update on my screen continuously. I only got 1 like on Facebook right now. Are we even streaming on Facebook right now? Still? Like, I don't know. I don't know what's going on. Nobody's watching on Facebook today. Nobody's watching on Twitter today. Just the Core 12 and 20 some people on YouTube. I don't know what's going on with today's show. But you guys are carrying me through it today. I will put money, Eagles 34, Tampa 8. Go ahead and put some money on it. Guess what? Whatever money you put on it, you're losing. Fairness, it's turned up to 11. Hey, look, it is what it is. Remember, 2 of those likes are from me. Don't forget that. You guys could choose Dalton Kane. We could. But we bring in anybody right now. The system and style this team is running right now, Kyle Hamilton, Dalton Kincaid, Dan Arnold, the ghost of whoever, Christmas past, they'll find a way not to utilize them correctly. Because all they want to do is run deep routes to A.J. Brown and Devontae Smith. And that's it. Come halftime, this game will be over 28-9 Bucks, and you'll probably have them winning 28-14. Because I think you've predicted 28-14 like 97 times the Eagles would lose this year, Marshawn. And you call me Negatron. Reset. It's not reset time yet. We still got a minute on that. This offense couldn't blow out a candle. No, they could. And this defense couldn't put out any fire from a candle either. Not at all. We will get a high anxiety game, possibly overtime. Yeah, it'll be like 0-0 going into overtime because neither Eagles defense would not pitch a shutout. Yeah, I mean it's going to be a stressful game. It's going to be a close game. We'll see how it plays out. I am not sure. Fills your hookup. Holla if you hear me. Big Papa Pump in the house right there. Reset. You guys just love the reset more than my actual show. I don't get it. Why? I'm going to just skip doing the reset from now on. We can't use they are a bad team for other teams. We are that bad team. Big Al, you're spot on. And this comment right here is why I feel the title of the show, is there any hope? The answer is no. And like I said at the start of the show, it comes back to accountability. Nick Nurse is holding the Sixers team accountable for 2 awful performances. Two games they should have won that they lost. And he's running drills. He's pressing them. He's pushing them harder. But the Eagles aren't. The Flyers, Jonesy and Briere are like, you don't want to be here? Then get out. But the Eagles are saying, it's all right. We can coast. There's a big difference right now between the Eagles and the rest of this city. Hell, even the Phillies. It's like 32 days till pitchers and catchers report. I'm excited for that. Thought I would get to go down to Clearwater for spring training this year. Doesn't look like it unless somebody wants to pay for me to go. Um, the Phillies at least rally around their manager, Rob Thompson, and win for him. Nobody's rallying around Nick Sirianni. If they like Nick Sirianni so much, maybe they'd be winning for him. Maybe they'd be doing something for him. All I know is today I need to find a way to get money so I can fix by going about Buffalo Wild. Yeah. No reset. Phil should give a pizza shop discount equal to the point spread this weekend. Drinks with dinks. I don't know who that is, but I love the name. I don't know what I'm gonna do. Playoff football for the Eagles equals big business for my pizza shop. Fox's Pizza. Scrolling. Perfect timing. The name, address, and phone number on the bottom of the screen right now. And the Eagles are gonna be one and done. If not, two and done. Playoff football last year versus this year, big difference in my business this year. NFL wants Eagles at 49ers in the second round. Refs will finally give us some calls on Monday night. I can't stand these. Yeah. That's a script writer's thing. If that's the way it plays out, mister, then the script is honest and real. Yes, I did say this, K1. The spread is the only thing giving me a remote amount of hype, of hope. It is. I mean, just imagine. I mean, if it was 1 point or 1 point Bucks favorite or 3 point Bucks favorite, then I would have zero hope. Just get your fix and don't get caught twisting the bottle. That's right. Um, Giants' first pass attempt last week went for 19 yards. Told me everything I needed to know about adjustments. That first play, I said it. Nobody was listening because I was in my living room by myself. That play, I knew the game was over, Marshawn, as soon as that play ended. I'm like, the Eagles are losing this game. Don't even need to watch the rest of it. I did. I'm a glutton for punishment. But that first play summed up all the problems with this Eagles defense. Hassan Reddick dropping 20 yards in the coverage and having no idea what to do. None. That's a shame. Phil, can you explain the Flyers trade in basketball terms? I don't know how to explain it because, again, I haven't stayed up on my Flyers knowledge as well as I used to and should. But Cutter Gauthier, he was a number 5 pick in 2022. He's playing in college right now, but we have his rights till he's done. He's supposed to be a stud. Said he didn't want to play here. So, Marshawn, I can explain it more in a, I guess, JD Drew type, way of saying that just refused to play here. Said he didn't want to be here. And I don't know why. I didn't dive deep to find out why he didn't want to be here. But he didn't want to be here. So instead of the Flyers trying to convince him or having a disgruntled player in the organization, they said, fine, you don't want to be here? Get out. We took a trade. Now, I don't know much about this defenseman that they got for him. I've heard mixed reviews. Some say he's really good. Some saying he's okay. I think they got a draft pick as well. But it's sending a message to the organization that you better want to be here. We're holding everybody to a different level and standard. Unlike the Eagles, who anything goes. And, so I saw some people saying it was like the Lindros situation. Lindros didn't want to play where he was going. So, he forced his way and came to Philly. I would say it's very similar to that. Very similar to JD Drew getting drafted by the Phillies and saying he didn't want to play here. Hopefully, I see this comment here. He's the new JD Drew. Hopefully, we don't throw batteries at him. I was at the Battery game, just so you know. I was also at the game after the Battery game when JD Drew had to wear a Mark McGwire jersey out in the field for batting practice, and he made the ball boy or the bat boy wear the JD Drew jersey to distract the fans. I was at both those games. I was in college at that time, maybe post-college. I forget what year that was. I'd rather he explained it in Elton John lyrics. Well, he's free of Philadelphia freedom. He's free of Philadelphia now, Cutter. It's a 1.5 Eagles over the weekend. What is it now? It went up to 2.5, and I think it's 3, and in some places even 3.5 Duck. It just keeps going up the line. Um, Everyone knows Reddick doesn't do well in coverage. He's a run stopper and blitzing. He's actually a better run stopper than people give him credit for, actually. And blitzing linebacker, we have him out there doing something he can't do that opens you up to get burned over and over. Keep doing it over and over again. Make it make sense. Why, Duck? Why do we keep doing it? Slay can play nose tackle according to Patricia. Who would be? Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't be shocked if he tried something like that. Was he advised not to play in Philly? Dude was the top forward in hockey juniors this past year. Yeah, that's what I've read too, Marshawn. I don't know where, you know, because I think I read that at one point when he was drafted to the Flyers, that he was happy to be here, that he wanted to be part of this once proud organization and help restore its legacy, but not anymore. But the whole point is that there's a standard being held up in at the Wells Fargo Center from the Flyers. And it's not going to be acceptable. If you don't want to be here, get out. Josh McDaniels heading back to New England, I guess. I don't know. Dallas Goddard's quote made me sick too. Between Dallas Goddard's quotes and Javon Hargrave's quotes, it's given me little hope. Actually, no hope for the rest of this season. Coasting. Team's coasting. If I was Nick Sirianni should be in that locker room after he hears that quote, blowing that team up. But nah, we'll be good. You got this. There's no sense of urgency coming out of the NovaCare complex. None whatsoever. It reinforces that Patricia is a fraud. I think we've learned that. I think we learned that Patricia is a fraud. Can't start a fire without a spark. That is not Elton John, is it? I think that's Bruce, right? Oh yeah, it is Bruce. It is Bruce. Yeah, I think he was off there. I think Philadelphia Freedom is the Elton John song. Elton John, fantastic in concert. Seen him a couple times. I see him and Billy Joel might be doing another face-to-face tour. If I did concerts, I'd go see that again. Have done that before. It's a fantastic concert. To Duck's point, it's the whole damn reason Hassan left Arizona. We talked about this yesterday, Dave. He wanted out of Arizona. They made some adjustments the last year, kept him semi-happy, and then he got out of Arizona. Why? Because he didn't want to be used in that style. And I've already brought up 1,000 times over that I don't think Hassan Reddick will be here next year for multiple reasons, mainly money, that he's going to want the extension and how he's going to have some tough decisions to make. He's going to have to not give somebody the money they want this offseason. And Hassan Reddick is kind of like the easiest option to skip over. Why? Because you drafted Nolan Smith to be his eventual replacement. Now, I'm not saying Nolan Smith is going to be Hassan Reddick, but Howie Roseman drafted Nolan Smith to be the next Hassan Reddick. That's a problem. Eagles fans sitting around crying over a broken heart. Yeah, absolutely. Wentz is playing better in Houston. Well, he's actually in L.A. He played for the Rams, and he played okay. He led a game-winning drive for the Rams on Sunday. Rams backups versus 49ers backups. But good for Carson Wentz. Everybody that knows me knows I've always been a Wentz fan. And while he ended here terribly, I still remember how important he was to winning a Super Bowl. And I still remember 2019 and how he led the comeback that season. How that game against the Giants, playoffs on the line, December, snowy, rainy, and you're down. And you got Boston Scott and Greg Ward, and that's it on your offense. And he leads that comeback against the Giants. He'll always hold a special place in my heart, just like Donovan will as well. Not a lot of success, but, they'll always hold special places. But Wentz, hey, played good. And I don't blame all the struggles, and I don't blame as much of the struggles on Jalen Hurts as other people do. I think Jalen Hurts his failures this year are more system, are more coaching, are more schemes, and a little bit of the injury more than anything else. I still have the utmost faith in Jalen Hurts, the franchise quarterback right now. If I had hope on anything, it's Jalen Hurts. Jalen Hurts is probably the only thing at the NovaCare complex that I have hope in. Big picture. Not this year. And I see this comment. I'm going to skip a few to get to even Derek Barnett. Yeah, he's not out. He had 2.5 sacks in 3 games, but he was leading the league in pressures and quarterback hits during that stretch. Yeah, get him out of here, and he plays well. Give Desai our defense, run the ball 70%, practice picking up the blitz, and kill the clock. Well, see, the problem is we're in the playoffs. All of a sudden, 1 week of practice is going to change everything? I doubt it. And I've seen people say, give Desai back the defense. I think it's too late to do that as well. I don't think you can make any more changes. Just confuse everybody even more. We are who we are. We're a dysfunctional mess. Dave, yeah, and like I said, I've seen people say, give Desai the rollback and just fire Patricia now. Maybe that'll be the spark. Yeah, Stetson Bennett. Yeah, I remember the name. I don't even remember where he is. I like Wentz. He just didn't want to put in the work to be the team leader. Yeah, you put Carson Wentz's natural, God-given ability with Jalen Hurts' toughness and leadership. Got the perfect quarterback right there. Because Carson Wentz was talented. He could throw a football. He just wasn't a leader. The reason why you drop Hassan to coverage is because the quarterback doesn't expect it, and you hope the quarterback makes a mistake and throws it to him. I don't know if this is sarcasm or real, but all I'm going to say, mister, is it's dumb, whether one way or another, it's still a dumb idea to do. It's like somebody said earlier. It's like putting Darius Slay at nose tackle. Yeah, the offense doesn't expect it, doesn't make it right. Yeah, our season went downhill after we released It's Always Him. Yeah, it really did. If you really think about it. What's our record pre and post getting rid of Derek Barnett? Just think about it. Just think about it. It's kind of coincidental, but it's kind of funny. Everyone excels once they leave Philly. Jim Schwartz, Gannon, Bowles, McDermott, Harbaugh. It's a Philly thing. It is a Philly thing. Jim Schwartz, I crushed him regularly. Love him back. Gannon, better than Sean Desai. Todd Bowles, great defensive coordinator. Not as great of a head coach, but we'll see. Sean McDermott, and Harbaugh, John Harbaugh. He was a special teams guy. But yeah, I get it. I think Julio and Byron and Leonard saying, damn, we should have picked the yeah. Well, Leonard was picking between us and the Cowboys. I bet you he wishes he went to the Cowboys. Julio, I don't remember who he was picking between. And Byron we traded for. So he really didn't have a say. But yeah, Julio and Leonard are like, what? This is what we chose? You don't think they're having regrets? Julio, it might be his last year. It might be Julio's last game in the NFL on Sunday. And this is what he chose? Christian Ellis, curse is real. I guess. It's funny. I like nice lamb. I don't even know what that means, my man. Don't even know where you're going with that conversation. I mean, we can point to a lot of random things. Christian Ellis, Derek Barnett, Jacoby Dean going down. We can point to a lot of it. Too many mercenaries on this team. Yeah, they tried. Howie tried too hard to use Band-Aids over open wounds instead of sealing them up, instead of getting the stitches to fix it. I don't know. I still got to put some, if not more than most people, blame on Howie Roseman on why I have no hope. I've got no hope. And again, like I said, where is the Nick Nurse response from Nick Sirianni? You got 2 Nicks in this city as leaders of franchises. And you got 2 totally different personalities. The Nick Nurse style resonates with the Philly fans much more than Nick Sirianni style. We need more Nick Nurse style out of Nick Sirianni. But if Nick Sirianni's comments are accurate, when he was talking about Jeffrey Lurie, giving him the vote of confidence that he's always got his back and blah, 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 blah. What he doesn't have any pressure on him. If I'm Jeffrey Lurie, I would have told him, dude, you're on the hot seat. Figure this out. I would have said it weeks ago. I'm not for firing a coach 3 years into his tenure when one of those years went to the Super Bowl and all three went to the playoffs. It's not a good look. But he has no there's no worries about consequences for actions. It's like a kid can break a rule in the house, but knows he won't get put in timeout or anything like that. So he just keeps doing it. Belichick drops his edge rushers into coverage for decades. Well, we're talking about Bill Belichick, and we're talking about Matt Patricia. Big difference. We're talking about teams with talent versus a team that is void of talent. You've got a team that can't get after the quarterback, and the best person that does it, you're dropping the coverage. Who else is going to get after the quarterback? What Hassan Reddick does, drop back into coverage. If we won last year, this wouldn't suck as much. No, it would still suck, Marshawn. If we won the Super Bowl, we'd still be just as miserable right now as we are. No doubt about it in my mind. We would be just as grumpy right now. I prefer the mercenary position. You tried to be funny. It fell a little flat for me, K1, just so you know. Wasn't your best joke of all time. Watch the holdover, kind of do. I didn't watch it. I didn't even know what the holdover was till I saw it winning awards. But he had a linebacker who could do it well. Reddick doesn't do it well. Yeah. I just, what's a force of habit? Um, Doing it mercenary style? Oh, man. The jokes are bad. So, there's so little hope in Eagles Nation that the jokes, when we were playing well, the jokes were much better on this show from the comment section, from the peanut gallery. But now the jokes are just tap dancing on my last nerve. It would be so sad that BG, Cox, Brever, all retire on this pathetic team in the end. Lane and Kelsey played their asses off. Yeah, I don't think Bradbury or Lane are retiring. Lane will be here probably next year. Bradbury will be gone. But yeah, there's gonna be a change of personnel on this team, massively, after the season's over. And you got a bunch of legends that careers are coming to an end, and this is the way they're going to go out. It's a damn shame. I think Fletcher Cox plays again next year. Probably not in Philly. If this season ends in disaster this week, Cox is gonna be like, I'm not going out like this. I'm gonna be a mercenary somewhere else. That's what he's gonna do. He's gonna go elsewhere to try to get that one last ring. Have you seen the defensive line do any stunts or misdirection? Feels like I'm watching them rush the quarterback in a straight line. I don't know what I'm watching on defense. I don't. And I don't think the players know what they're doing on defense. So, go figure. I am a tough audience. You got to be better. You got to come with better quality content, K1. You got to. Still letting all the Eagles talk get to him. It's not getting to me. I'm ready to talk Flyers. I'm ready to talk Sixers. I'm ready to talk Phillies. I'm ready to bring on guests and talk other stuff. I'm done. I'm out on this Philadelphia Eagles team. I'm not out. I'm still a fan. I don't want people to mistake it because the Twitter people will say I'm a terrible fan because I've given up on the team. Don't come back when they're good again. Get that crap out of here. A real Eagles fan can be frustrated. It's okay. We need to talk to McKinley, his from Giants, who picked off Marcus. Indeed. At Duck, you have to understand O-line blocking concepts to know why the O-line call their blocking assignments pre-snap. When Hassan drops, it confuses and missed blocks. But you got to have somebody else that can take advantage of those missed blocks. We don't have anybody else. That's the problem, mister. You've got one guy, Hassan Reddick, that can get after the quarterback. Josh Sweat hasn't had a sack in like 6 years now. I think we may have all overrated Josh Sweat a little bit. They should just switch to man and quit trying to run that zone defense that's killing us. They should do something. They should switch to something. I don't know what, but they should. Feels like 2012 again with this team. Historic pass rush not being effective. Offense turned the ball over. Jalen looked more like Michael Vick every game. They don't look good, I'll tell you that. That's what happens when Patricia inconveniences everyone else by not learning the lingo of the current plays. I thought he was just calling the same plays, but it turns out he's not. What's up, Defo? How you doing, my man? I'm not out on them this year. Actually, preferring maybe they lose to Tampa in round one. If they advance, sorry to say, Dallas is going to beat them by 40. I don't have the stomach for that. I've seen people say that. They'd rather see them lose. If they're going to lose, they better as well lose bad. At least that'll create some change maybe in the organization. I don't know. I wonder what Jeffrey Lurie said to Nick Sirianni really when he went to the locker room on Sunday night. I really do. I wonder if he put him on notice at all. Phil's halfway to the first tee already. I played like 3 rounds of golf last week in Florida, man. I've been on the first tee a few times already. Breaking news, Josh Sweat playing wide receiver. Maybe. Bradbury will get more burnt in, man. Yeah. Michael Vick, don't get Swift, Goddard, Smitty, AJ, Julio, and the number 1 offensive line in the world. I mean, what more can you need? Again, like I said, first off, it's not the number 1 offensive line in the world. They cannot pass protect worth a damn. So let's do that. Julio's not a Hall of Famer anymore, level player anymore. He is a Hall of Famer, but you know what I'm saying. Goddard, never healthy. Missed 4 games this year, whatever. AJ, Smitty, how many drops? How many fumbles? Just saying. This epic. See, here's the thing. This epic failure of a season, which I don't think I've ever said an 11-6 team in the playoffs was an epic failure. I feel like it's the first time I ever said that. This epic failure of a season, it's on everybody. Everybody is to blame. Nobody is off the hook. And when that's what it is, when everybody's disappointing, you got to look at the top. And you got to blame the people that are leading this chain. Nick Sirianni and Howie Roseman. Hell, you got to blame Jeffrey Lurie for this disaster of a run. Because he enables Nick Sirianni. He enables Howie Roseman. These guys feel like there's no pressure, that their jobs are never on the line. That's a problem. Now, Jeffrey Lurie has had the tendency to fire coaches a little quickly. Will he? I don't know. But I wouldn't cry about it. Our offensive line has 3 back-to-back Pro Bowlers and Pro Bowlers. Come on, we are ranked number 1 still. It's not our O-line. I'm going to disagree with you, Travis, 100%. They do not pass block well. And honestly, the numbers would be even worse if Jalen Hurts wasn't a mobile quarterback. Just saying. It's not as good as it seems. Sometimes you got to look past the numbers, past the awards that they get. Lurie is at the top. Great owner. But, he's not going to fire himself. Look, it has worked. The problem is the D-line keeps losing, letting the quarterback break containment. The almost sack category, when he gets pressure, it doesn't work when the quarterback can buy time. We're making average mobile quarterbacks look so mobile. So, yeah, we got problems there as well. Look, it's a complete team disaster, complete team failure this year. And again, when have we ever said complete team failure of an 11-win team that's in the playoffs? This team doesn't do anything well. They can't even do players-only meetings correctly. Exactly. Kind of feel like that answers what the answer is, which is just to start over again. Make major changes. Like seriously. When a team doesn't do a single thing well, now let's be honest, they've won 11 games purely because of the elite talent that is on this team. The elite talent on this team with a great coach and a great system in place offensively and defensively, would be favorites to get back to the Super Bowl again. Or maybe we overvalue the talent too much. Maybe the people that we say are talented aren't as talented as we think they are. And they just overachieved last year. How much of it? Here's a great question. Did the 2022 Eagles overachieve or did the 2023 Eagles underachieve? I smell a poll question. I smell a poll question on Twitter. Underachieve versus overachieve. Highlighting it so I don't forget it. What is it? Which one is it? Didn't AJ broke the most fumbles by overly Look, I ignored the fumble on Sunday because he hurt his knee. But that's not the first time he's done that this year. 2 lackadaisical with the football, AJ Brown. The drops by Smitty and Brown this year have gone up significantly over last year. It's like it's leveling out. Last year there was none. This year there's too many. So that the average over 2 years is about average. I say fire Howie and replace him with Bill Belichick when he gets to resign from the Patriots. He hasn't gotten fired yet. Very surprised by that. Really thought Belichick would be done. I think the rumor was that I read that they're talking about taking away GM responsibilities from him. And if he's willing to release that part of it, that they may keep him. I don't know. I still think Bill Belichick's time has passed him by, and he should ride off into the sunset. We need to have fans hiding in garage cans and jumping out and throwing batteries. Lori and Howie, we did Santa for less. Yeah, absolutely. Look, is there any hope left? Sorry, guys. You haven't convinced me that there is. Nobody has. Belichick's ass without Brady, would have been. It seems that way. Yeah, look. Yeah, he should be taken on the boat and just tossed off the side. Just not in the face, right? Give me that, not in the eyes. Let me keep my eyes. See, I could bring in a quote here or there occasionally. Hope is not a strategy. Look, I'm writing this down. That might be tomorrow's show title. It really might be. Not a strategy. That might be tomorrow's show title. It very well could be. It's not. And far too much, that's what we're leaning on hope. And it's funny, Al. It's that there's no hope for this year, even though they still could win on Sunday. But then it's all over. There's no chance they get past the next round. What's up, Jose? How you doing? Here's my thoughts. Will I be upset if we don't go far in the playoffs? No. There's an internal issue that needs to be corrected this offseason for the future of our young players. I think it's a fantastic comment here from Jose, my man. We'll be upset in the heat of the moment. And the day after the game, we'll be all fired up on the show. But once the season ends and kind of settles down, I love this comment from you, my man. Marshawn, 100%. Can I get a pizza if that is sure. If I use that as the show title, you'll get a pizza. Hope may not be, but it's all you got unless you're Sirianni. Sirianni doesn't have to worry about hope because he's not worried about his job. Super Bowl window closed? No. But it could quickly. Too many problems show no signs of life. Absolutely. He can get a free pizza. If I give him it's closing faster than I thought it would. Exactly. That's the thing. It isn't closed, but it's closing. And a drastic turnaround this offseason needs to happen or the window will close. We're going to start the wrap-up process here. We're at the end. I got to write this down. Is Super Bowl window closing? I got a lot of highlighted things here in my book that I got to re-attack on social media after the show. But we're going to wrap this up here. Trending in the AM right here on Philadelphia Sports Network. Make sure you hit the like button, share, subscribe, retweet. If you watch the replay, drop your comments. I always get back to them. Guys, For me, all hope is lost. You did nothing to convince me that there is hope. I have none. We have to wait another 5 years for another Super Bowl loss. I hope not. I hope not. Guys, make sure you tune in tonight, 9 p.m. right here. Same channel, same place. We'll be live. Fairway to Heaven Season 4 kicks off. Talking fantasy and gambling golf, the PGA Tour season, the Sony Open, who to bet, who to play in your DraftKings lineup. Myself, Jason Sullivan, live. 9 p.m., 7:30 p.m. Flipping the Birds will be on. So stay locked. Stay locked to PSN all day, every day, because it's the best sports channel there is out there. Just like yesterday, Duck. It's go Birds again.